Hey everybody, Doug here from 2 Plus Tough. Welcome to a very exciting day. If you're not familiar, Games Workshop this week is doing a whole bunch of reveal events every single day. Unfortunately, with my schedule, I was not able to do them live. I had a prior engagement and won't be able to do any of these live. I wasn't prepared for them to do it like 11 o'clock in the middle of the day. So unfortunately, with helping out with family and stuff, it's just not a possibility. But I will be talking about the Age of Sigmar stuff today because a lot of things dropped for us, as well as I might be able to pop in. I might have to do it from a hotel later on. So I'll try my best to get content out there for you guys. But wow, what a freaking show it was. I was able to watch it in its totality because I wanted to kind of get a sense of if they had any additional information. As always, as I go through these articles, if I miss anything that the host said, because sometimes they fill in information, go ahead and throw it in the chat. I'll read it out. And if you have any questions or whatever, we'll do it. Now, here's how I'm going to do this. Normally, when Games Workshop does these big reveal events, they usually have one blog post and just kind of dump information. So I just kind of scroll down with folks. But this time, they've been splitting it up into individual articles, which I actually like because it means it's, first of all, if you're loading it on a web page, it's not this like incredible photo dump. But you can look at the actual things you're interested in and kind of divvy it up. So I like that. What that means for us, though, is if you're not familiar with me doing these, essentially I'm just going to walk through the reveals. And after every reveal, we'll pause, chat about it, and kind of get some of your guys' thoughts. So please, if you have a second, be very active in the comments. I keep knocking over. I have a whole bunch of Elder Scrolls Call to Arms models on my desk right now, and I just keep knocking every single one of them over. Anyway, we'll go over here. Got Andrew, hey, and 000-1. Cool, hey. So, here we is, and these are not in any particular order, because whatever, I just opened them all up. And we're going to talk first about the General's Handbook. See, stall for... I'm sorry, I don't know how to pronounce that. Swinging by to say hi. Thank you for all the work you do to make this world come alive. You are invaluable. Oh, thank you so much. That's super kind of you. So let's read through this here. A new General's Handbook opens the first time... This edition opens for the first time. There we go. Age of Sigmar players will be familiar with the General's Handbook, a periodic supplement packed with new ways to wage war. The 2022 volume is the first for the current edition of the game, and it's bringing big changes to the mortal realms. Is that true? Is the first... Oh, for the current edition. I was like, something's not banging right in my head. Interesting. Okay, so Season 1. Interesting that they are doing seasons. Let's think about that. Keep that in our brain. The action still raging across the realm of beasts, but while the last Pitch Battles pack was all about fielding monsters, killing monsters, or even turning into monsters, this season brings us back to basics. The latest General Handbook emphasizes your humble, battle-line troops, warriors who become veteran survivors of Gur. Pause right there. I love it. I love it. So much. We got Myra, I'm doing well, thank you. And Brent, are they always spiral bound? The last two have been, I believe. Well, the last one and then this one, so that's 2 total. So anyway, I was going to say the emphasis on battle line, I'm here for it. You'll need these hard-bitten and literally bitten, given the wildlife they've been fighting, soldiers to claim and contest objectives with new realm rules, grand strategies, battle tactics, and core battalions to help them do just that. The book also includes 12 new battle plans. Half follow the season's themes of infantry reclaiming Gur, while the other 6 are aimed at a more general use. Okay. This is a sweet picture. Some Lumineth versus Ossiarch Bone Reapers. Love it. Whether you're a tournament champion... no, there's no information about... Let's see. This volume's no different, but while the updated profiles are still included with the book, they'll also be available for free. Okay, cool. That's basically it for that. I was looking to see if they had any kind of preview for the narrative section, but there's nothing there. It just, but so we have a few things to talk about here. One, love that they're keeping the same small style book. I'm so tired of Hero Hammer. Do you face Hero Hammer? For me, it's Battleline If Hammer. That's kind of what I've been up against. A lot of things that are only Battleline because something lets them be. But, of course, your world will be different than mine based on who you play. So, first of all, yes, I love that they're keeping the smaller size. I find it very convenient. I love... so the event that I'm going to next weekend, Vault Wars, is... basically, they're limiting all the things that you can use, like in terms of rule support, to your Battle Tome and the General's Handbook. And I love that because this is such a portable rules compendium that I really do like that about it. Second, troll on the cover, dope. Let's get back to real fantasy, trolls and stuff. One thing I'm curious about is it says Pitched Battles, 2022 to 23, Season 1. No idea what the season means. Like when I hear season, I think not annual. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong. It just seems strange. Usually seasonal is like, it'll have a couple of times the year. I don't know. Someone tell me what you guys think. Beyond that, I'm excited to see their return focus to Battleline. I still think Battleline If in the 3rd edition is one of the most important rules. No, it's not a keyword, but you know what I mean. Battlefield rules, I guess, is what it is technically. I think that is, yeah. I believe we are doing the 6-month thing in 40K. Yeah, but it says the entire year though. I don't know. I'm just curious. So if it said 22-23 season 2, that would be the next whatever. Battleline If Hammer is such a great way to put it. Need more combat, less restrictive model use. Yeah. They mentioned 6 months. Interesting. Okay. I mean, as long as they can still support some good narrative stuff. I felt like the narrative side of things was a bit meh in the last one, but I was okay with it because it was our one we needed for 3rd edition. It was very clear, very concise, had rules for all the endless spells. Like there was a lot of value in there. I had no complaints about the current General's Handbook. Just stuff I would have liked to seen added. Like every GHB, if you've been around since the first one came out, they all emphasize different things. Sometimes it's more competitive, sometimes it's more narrative. Yeah. This event is X number of seasons, and the event lasts till 22. I don't know. Let's see. So that's it for this one. We're getting a new GHB with an emphasis on troops, and there's a whole lot of missions. Missions are always good. Does anyone have any final thoughts before we move on from the GHB announcement? For me, I love the use of Battleline If, provided... I don't know. There's a lot of ways that they can go with that. I wouldn't mind it if they made it sometimes more difficult to achieve. Like it seems in the newer battle tomes, it's just if you have a certain hero or a particular sub-faction. But I don't know. It's like a gravestone. It already has its deceased date. Yeah, you're exactly right. Yes. Expires by 23. We'll end up at the Goodwill book section by... Yeah, I don't know. Like I look at my older GHBs and I still refer to them for mission ideas and all kinds of narrative stuff. I have never looked, like after my initial look, I have never gone back to our current GHB to be like, I'm so excited to learn about a new type of mission or way to play the game. It's very dry in my opinion, but it is very effective at giving you rules. So I'd never had a complaint. But yeah. Okay. I'm going to go ahead and move along since we've had a minute and no one's saying anything. Got to give the book a sniff before you use it like a carton of milk. Exactly. Okay, sorry. I scroll down this one to steal the picture for my image. Myra Mini, do you think the GHB is for matched play and the Seasons of War books will do the narrative side of things? That's an interesting idea. The thing is that the Seasons of War stuff is definitely an emphasis on narrative play, but it still has matched play things in it because matched play does not mean tournament play. It just means you're playing with a match play packet. So it has both, but I didn't feel like the last GHB had both. You know what I mean? Again, it's all an opinion thing. If that's the way they wanted to do it, that's awesome. It just means I'm not buying a GHB all the time because honestly, I don't like. It's the kind of thing that I would never care about until I was going to an event, and then I would just go to the store that I'm playing at and buy one of theirs because I could not conceivably care less about the tournament level of games and that kind of stuff. It just, no amount of making me try is going to happen. But I would like that. I mean, I certainly think that it is that way when it comes to campaigns, for sure. But yeah. I buy a Seasons of War, borrow a GHB. Exactly. Corbin, we are of a kind. Okay, next one. Reveal the massive project to put mortals back into mortal realms. The mortal realms encompass worlds of high magic and impossible vistas of epic adventure. So far, the Age of Sigmar has seen mighty storm-forged warriors stand against monstrous hordes, elves on flying beasts clash with legions of skeletal constructs, gargants the size of castles, those are pretty small castles in my opinion, wrestle with living gods, and plenty more besides. But there's one thing that's kind of been missing: the ordinary folks who populate the cities of Sigmar. And I'm going to turn this down and just kind of let it play here so we can get a sense of what the visuals are. You're learning with me, by the way, because I have never, I didn't watch any of this beforehand. The reveals, on the blog and stuff like that, I watched it from the Twitch show, but I haven't read any of this. And there's not much to show. It is the coin you see on my intro image. And here they give us some groundbreaking knowledge that the fan base has been screaming at Games Workshop ever since the launch of Age of Sigmar. Normal humans offer a vital window into the worlds of Warhammer. When demigods clash with demon princes, it's the perspective of these mere mortals that gives us a frame of reference and helps us to imagine the scale. Again, we know. We said that when all you did was release Stormcast. I love Stormcast. I'm just poking fun. In Warhammer 40k, we can compare the galaxy's myriad horrors to a humble guardsman, which helps us realize how lucky we are to not go anywhere near an Avatar of Cain or Hive Tyrant. The same is true in the mortal realms. And while miniatures like the Vendenst and Elemda Bruskov from Warhammer Curse City, oh, that's right, yes, I forgot about that, have shown us how cool humans can be, they've always been a rarity amongst our releases, and it's time for that to change, as we reimagine the forces of common humanity in the cities of Sigmar. Okay, we're scrolling down here. Organizing the fractious free cities is no easy task, so the full release is still quite a ways off. But we don't intend to sit around and wait. Over the coming months, you can follow those who take up the coin Malleus, a sacred symbolic payment given to members of a Dawnbringer crusade, and join us on Warhammer Community as we journey through the Warhammer Studios development of this jaw-dropping project. We've even managed to procure a sneak peek at some of the early miniature renders from the studio. These are some insignia, emblems, and symbols that will come with your models to demonstrate their rather macabre dedication to the God King. Okay, I'm going to pause there. Let's get this picture up here. Let's see, we got Corbin. I really don't like that the next sentence starts with normal humans. It makes me think that the dispossessed wood elves and high are going to go away. Interesting. I didn't think about that, but that's a good point. Andrew, this was the one segment where I stopped watching Rob and Vince. I learned more about it while watching Valrak, who doesn't know diddly about AOS. Oh. Is there stuff to learn about it? I don't know. I haven't watched anything with Rob and Vince lately. I didn't know they did a stream today. Rob the Honest Wargamer guy? I thought he usually had Tyler Emerson on his show with Vince. Yeah, that's all. So yeah, we're looking at some sweet renders here. I mean, I don't feel like there's a ton to really gaze upon, as everything just kind of says Sigmar. I think this one is certainly the most interesting. Let's see if we can zoom this in. I like this one so much. The skull where it comes into a pipe, because it almost looks like the silhouette of a guards, like a like a militiaman wearing a helmet. You know what I mean? I'm trying to think of the word. There's a specific kind of helmet that comes up to a point like that, but I can't think of it right now. This is the stuff I'm here for. Vince is in UK to celebrate Horus Heresy Day. Oh, cool. Cool. Hey, Ken. It's been a long time, buddy. Good to see you. The sigils are sick. Yeah, dude, they are. I like it. Looking at this, they don't have a whole lot of commonality. Like, it's not the kind of thing where I look at this and I say, this is going to be upgrade sprues. You know, one way to look at this would be like, maybe they're doing various city-style armies with different human factions and Morian helm. Is that it? Thank you. You know, they have different kinds of factions, and these would be little upgrade bits to make them, you know, these guys are from Reichsguard, and these guys are from Nuln, or whatever, like we would do in the old world. But, you know what I mean? Like ways to specify where they're from. But they don't seem to have any kind of uniformity in that sense. They kind of just seem all over the place, so it makes me think that these might be early renders from, you know, unit standard bearers, perhaps a larger thing like a new Altar of Sigmar or something like that. I'm just making stuff up. No inside knowledge here. But yeah. Mr. Jabu, I'm now getting into AOS for the first time. Picked Fire Slayers. Woo! That's all welcome, Mr. Jabu. Good choice. Fire Slayers are awesome. You know, I will say, I'm going to step back and talk about this preview here. Normally, I am pretty down on previews that they don't actually show you anything. Like, if it was only this video, I would have been like, this is a bunch of garbage. Because I hate that stuff. Preview, non-preview, right? The fact that they showed us some renders, I feel like is at least something to get excited about. I do like it. Certainly this one here with the skull and ribcage inside. A nice little trim with on top of the crown. I just think it looks stellar. I'm curious. Some of these things I'm sure look very strange when they're blown up, but they would actually be like insanely small, so the detail would look better because it's tiny. But all in all, I think it's awesome. Age of Sigmar launched in 2015. It's taken 7 years for them to figure out what we've all been saying of humans are our point of reference. So, you know, good on them. If you're curious about what the coin is all about, whenever people go on to a long-term Dawnbringer crusade and they're just going to go out and start a new city, they're given a coin. And so that's kind of like it's sort of a half payment, sort of a badge of honor type deal. It's just something that they can have. They have a little hammer etched into it, so you can use as a thing of worship and that, like a trinket, that kind of deal. So I think that is pretty cool. But again, not much to talk about because they didn't give us a ton, but that's okay. Everything here is super cool. The fact that they're working on Cities of Sigmar in a more meaningful way, I hope it's cool. And stuff like this, I think, it goes a long way to getting people excited. You know, just seeing the different iterations of faith and war, right? Because this on top looks very regal and noble and clean, whereas you get to this bottom right one, and you have like these, you know, the curling horns and stuff like that as a motif everywhere. That could have a very different vibe given a different color scheme. Like, it could seem very nefarious, and I like that kind of stuff. You put those little bits of feeling into there. I like it. I'd be super down with a vanilla human line and then having upgrade sprue bits to spec into factions. Yeah, I mean, I don't know how much GW does that anymore. Do they still do upgrade sprues for stuff? I feel like they did it for Stormcast for a while and then they were like, actually, no one's buying these. I'd be scared about them dropping old dwarves and tree elves, but they cut high elves, and then the unit still made the Lumineth Thrumlord fit perfect. Oh, yeah. Yeah, when it comes to these kinds of things, I'm somebody who approaches the hobby with an open hand, meaning stuff's going to come and it's going to go. And, I'm not sure how much those units are justifying their shelf space at this moment right now. So I can't say. I don't know. But it'd be interesting to see. So let's go. Let's see. Necromunda has upgrade kits. Okay, thank you. Moving on to our next one. Revealed. New Skaven Deathmaster sneaks into Warhammer Fest. Yes, yes. What is your opinion on the whole no Skaven re thing people keep talking about? We'll check it out. Alright, we're watching this guy here. We recently saw some death-dealing new Skaven for Clan Eshin for Warhammer Underworlds, but while they're out in the Nether Maze, who is taking care of the kill contracts in the Mortal Realms? This is an awesome video, by the way. If you guys did not watch it, you absolutely should. Nice. Look. I'll scoot down because they have a better image of him. The Skaven Deathmaster is an expert hero killer armed with an arsenal of esoteric weapons. I almost said exotic weapons. Coated in lethal toxins devised by Clan Eshin, and more than a match for most targets. I would agree. So here is our new Clan Eshin Deathmaster. He is essentially an assassin, and I really do like him. The rules that they gave the Underworlds one make me very excited for this guy. Like, for real. If you haven't seen those rules, just his means of deployment and how he can get into combat, he is just a cool threat piece that I'm excited to see. Also, you know, not to harp on it too much, but I've said it before, I think Skaven is their most unique intellectual property when it comes to their fantasy things. Like, it was unique even back in fantasy battles, and it still continues to be the most unique. People who don't play AOS understand Skaven when they look at them, right? It's kind of like Space Marines have kind of taken on a pop culture thing. I feel very much the same way about Skaven. But yeah, so we have a new Deathmaster, which is very much deserved. Sneaky Skaven assassins have been around for a very long time, but this is the first time we're seeing one in plastic. As you can see, it's been updated with some very Warhammer Age of Sigmar looking terrain, while maintaining that classic Skaven look, including having a weaponized tail. Along with Skittershank's Claw Pack from Underworld's Nether Maze, this Deathmaster will make an excellent start for a new Skaven army. Squeaking of Skaven, I like that. We can also reveal the next battle tome for Grand Alliance Chaos. The Children of the Horned Rat will be emerging into a realm near you very soon. So here we are with our sexy, sexy pick. Boom. Check out the rest of the reveals. So, we're going to have a discussion here. I'm just going to leave it there. Because there is a delay, I'm just going to say this. If you have any thoughts on Skaven, throw it in the comments because it'll take a minute to reach me. I'm going to talk for a bit, and then I'll read your guys' comments, and then we'll move on to the next article. I know that there are a lot of complaints regarding the lack of new Skaven models. And I'm not going to tell you to, like, suck it up or whatever. They're going to do what they're going to do over at GW. I agree that it is their most unique intellectual property, and for whatever reason it seems to collect dust and whatever. But, you know, after 7 years, we finally getting a dedicated Cities of Sigmar look at humanity, like a good final rehash of it. And so when Skaven get their model lines day, it'll be awesome. Now, as far as what the army needs, I'll be honest, I don't play Skaven a ton, like against them or with them. I played with them for a little bit. I don't mind the models. I think they need rules more than they need models. By that I mean, I think that the line has compelling, cool kits. It has a ton of really compelling and cool kits. No, of course, they're not all of the same quality and tier. Some of them are older than me almost. But what I mean is, when a new person jumps into Age of Sigmar, and they're like, those rat guys look awesome, because these frickin' rat guys look awesome, getting that new person to have a starting army with Skaven and a clear path of purchases from a consumer perspective is a nightmare. I hate the Skaven book for that reason. Like, let me tell you a story. I played Skaven for 6-7 months, and I got into it wanting to do Scryer. Okay, so I had this cool Scryer list. I had a whole bunch of stuff painted up. I was really enjoying it. And then at a certain point, I was like, you know what I would love to dip my toe into is Clan Pestilence. It is the same army. It is the same book. And not a single model in my collection would be a playable army. And that is ridiculous. Because at that point, you might as well just have them be different battle tomes. Why not just have the Clan Pestilence battle tome and be its own thing? It was the worst constructed book from a practical consumer perspective that I have ever seen from a company, period. If anyone ever accuses me of always being positive, simply look at my feedback on the Skaven book. It's not even just internal balance of clan to clan, which every army is going to have different levels of balance and that kind of stuff. But from a person being excited and wanting to play with cool models, man, it was a nightmare. So, anyway, that's my hill. I'll hop off now, my soapbox. But my point is, I think I wouldn't be surprised if they did this, right? Give us a new book with new rules, and if they really focused on the path for consumers and players, and then used that information to be like, okay, what kits are people actually buying, right? Now you have access to a whole bunch of stuff. You can make whatever army you want. What is actually selling? What can we drop and cut? What can we revitalize and make super exciting? Because right now, if you were to ask me like, hey, Doug, here's a whole bunch of sales data. Tell me how Skaven sell. There's no way to, because each individual clan functionally in terms of the SKUs that Games Workshop sells is like a different army. There's no crossover for most of them. And so, I'm happy. All I have to say, I know it sounds like I'm mad because I'm mad at the Skaven book, but I am truthfully super excited that they're getting a battle tome. Cannot tell you enough. I think it's more important than models. It just is, because even if you had new models and you had the same problem you have now, it still sucks as an army. I'm sorry, in terms of purchases specifically. Remember that. Anyway, so I'm gonna go over to the chat here. All right, let's get into it. 20 minutes late. Juan, Skaven are cool. I agree. I think they're awesome. Skaven and Beastmen. Nice. I think the Deathmaster looks fantastic. I was just very disappointed the Deathmaster is the only new model they're getting. Very excited for the Battle Tome, though. That's awesome. I'm here for Doug's Hot Pocket takes. Yeah! I'm excited about Skaven. Obviously, it's a shame new models aren't coming out, but as long as they have a chance to blow themselves up, I'm happy. There you go. Sean, they should be similar to orcs in my opinion. Sub-factions for specific bonuses, but all have a unified... Yeah, I would agree with that. I would agree with that quite a bit. I don't know if I would necessarily have... Yeah, I guess... I mean, I'd be cool with like a big wall equivalent. Why not? You know? It'd be really cool if... I mean, I would even settle heck for a Beast of Chaos style where, there's 3 different allegiance abilities, and if you just happen to take something, you get that allegiance ability, but I don't know. Okay. I think I'm going to move on here. Plague Sensor Bearers need an entire redo. Of course. I mean, some of those Skaven fought proudly under the Reagan era presidency here in the United States, and it shows. That's not literally true, but it feels that way when you look at them. Moving on to our next article, and certainly the one that I am most excited for. Revealed. The new Silvernet have been empowered by the right of life. So here we go. We're looking at this. Sorry, I'm just making sure the comments are good. Coming through just fine. Okay. Alariel's... I'll start this playing and I'll just mute the snot out of it. Alariel's Right of Life has had transformative effects on the mortal realms, prompting the appearance of terrifying Cron-spire incarnates, but the impact has had on our own kin has been just as profound. Well, one can only hope, right? Hopefully she's not doling out bonuses to every army except hers. As you can see, the previews going. We're introduced to some new units. We'll get to them down here in just a second. After her untimely death in the Realmgate Wars, the Lady of Vines is back, thanks to the God Queen of the Silvernet, and her deep rage for all things that threaten the Silvernet smolders in her thorny heart. The Lady of Vines, if you don't know, that was a pivotal character in the Realmgate Wars who helped the Stormcast find Alarielle and rejuvenate her in her like war aspect. So a very important character, but has only been important within the context of AOS rather than being pulled from, you know, the old world or whatever, necessarily. So let's talk about this. We have the Lady of Vines right here. First of all, this model is incredible. This is absolutely stellar looking. Also down here, I don't know if you saw, she's crushing looks like a plague bearer's head. Looks too big to be a Nurgling, but yeah. I love it. I love the power pose of just, it reminds me of the movie Anchorman when they have the big Anchorman fight and the sportscaster for the main crew punches a guy out cold with one hit, and then he looks at somebody else and points at him and then just starts walking directly towards him, like just picking out his next target and then walking over to him. I feel like that's what she's doing here. Just like, bam, you're next. Just starts walking. I like it quite a bit. I love the giant claw arm, just like Alarielle has herself. I guess the other arm's the same, but because it's wrapped around a staff, it looks a little bit smaller. So keep those comments pouring in. I will review them here at the end of the article. Here's some more detailed shots of her. Again, wonderful. Like, the reason I like this is because it fits into the faction in a very unique way. In one hand, she is, she's ultimately a branch witch, right? At the same time, this headdress reminds me a lot of Alarielle's. The rows of leaves behind her are very reminiscent of is it the War Song Revenant, the new guy with his billowy cape thing. It's just beautiful, and whenever I see Sylvaneth models, I don't just think about them in their studio scheme, but like, a popular scheme for them is the, what do you call them? The pink. Someone please tell me in the chat. What's the pink trees I'm thinking of? I don't know why I can't think of it. But you've seen the paint scheme, though. It's very brilliant, very popping, and I'm like, oh yeah, I want that. She isn't alone either, as with her comes on Silken Wings, Gossamid archers are lethal skirmishers afforded the power of flight by symbiotic Zephyr sprites. Cherry blossoms! Thank you, everybody! I don't know why I couldn't think of that. Their arrows, loosed from elegant bows, play host to ravenous grubs that bore into their enemies. Very nice. So it's a symbiotic relationship with a bug that latches onto their back and allows them to be carried. Man, that's just so cool. So freaking cool. Sound of cicadas, yes. These guys look absolutely great. I love the Revenant look. I mean, when those Revenant models came out, I was floored. But then, I don't know what they do in the game at this exact moment. I don't have any Sylvaneth players near me, nor do I play them. But when they came out, I thought they were going to be like the standard 10-man infantry and that the Dryad kit was going to kind of fade away. But nope. I like it. But, I kind of like them as being the more elite militant arm. But they were so hindered by only having a few options. By a few, I mean literally two. You know what I mean? But this at least gives them some more stuff on the table. So I am very excited about that. Josh, I just looked up Cherry Blossom Sylvaneth. I'm pretty sure I'm collecting Sylvaneth now. Yeah, dude. Right? Isn't that just freaking cool looking? It's the most beautiful. Okay, here we go. The Rite of Life has also awoken long dormant dragon spites, sorry, not sprites. Mighty insectile creatures the Sylvaneth tame and turn into indomitable speeds. These fearsome cavalry come in two flavors. The Spite Rider Lancers are Alarielle's elite shock cavalry. Lightning fast, they dart into combat and strike their foes down before they can react. So here we go. Okay, so it looks like they're riding IP secured dragonflies. I love it. Interesting that they have like a Kernothy type helm. That is an interesting thing. Because, yeah, I mean, I only point that out because they are ethereal. It's like, what's the helmet doing, brah? But I like it. I like it quite a bit. Oh, I like this one where he's kind of leaning forward. He has the banner. I love it because he's arched forward more with the banner held up front. It looks like he's in motion. I like that a lot. Biofoot. I went with a Shadewood scheme. So emo, you can hear My Chemical Romance when you look at them. Yeah. That's amazing. Oh, it's amazing. Now, I truly think these guys are going to come in, what, 3-man units? I don't actually know. That's a great question here. Let's see. I'm trying to... I took some notes during the reveal show, and I'm just kind of looking through them here to see if I missed it. No, I don't remember if he said... Did anybody else catch that? If this is going to be a unit of 3, I'd imagine so. There's only 3 models here, and I would think that you would have to reinforce it to get the other options, but whatever. Brent Terry, the flight stands give me Vietnam flashbacks. I like it. You know what I'm thinking of doing if I end up with some of these, like the website Magnet Baron, he has like flight stands that are magnetized specifically for Games Workshop models. Check that out. That'll make your life different. They're really using old flight stands when the flight stands for Idneth Shark exists. I don't know, man. I don't know. Here's the other options. Revenant Seekers are a touch slower, focusing on the vital task of harvesting the life energy of fallen Silvernet to resurrect their allies. That is curious. And it's curious because there's only 2 in this picture, and I'm interested to see if this is a unit of 2 and there's a hero option. Wouldn't that be rad? A kit of 2. No, I think they're a multi-kit, from what I understood, right? The Fearsome Cavalry come in 2 flavors. I would think so. It would just be really cool if there was like a 3-man unit to do damage, and then if you took this one, which is a more supportive role, it was a 2-man unit, and you had a hero. Again, just kind of leaning into the support from different avenues. That's my guess. I have no clue, y'all. My KO have little thimbles for flight stands. That's cool. I like it. So that is all cool. All of these fabulous floral fighters are Carapist Cavalry, are arriving alongside the latest book from the Evergreen's Forest Dwelling Sentinels, Battletome Silvernet, which you can expect to see more of in the coming weeks. So that's all we got. Okay, I'd say that's all we got. We got a ton, but you know what I mean, like in terms of more information. I'm gonna throw this up here because I just want to look at her. So it's what I said when I met my wife. So I want to look at her. So I'm thinking about this. My thoughts on Sylvaneth. I have been very vocal on the channel that I don't like the Sylvaneth for specifically one reason, and that has always been how their terrain kit, the Sylvaneth Woods, fits into the army. It just seems like Games Workshop has the hardest time either balancing it or, when it's fine, articulating it so that it's very understandable for new folks, because it seems like a lot. It's a lot of information. The fact that so many units key into, like almost every unit in the frickin' book has some special rule regarding you know, what happens, you know, they're different in the woods than they are outside the woods, which makes, you know, logical sense. But from a gameplay perspective, like, okay, but these guys actually have to physically move across the table and capture objectives to play the game. So it just, I never liked it. I am desperately hoping with this book that they are just like clean slating, not getting rid of the Wildwoods. That's not what I want at all. But revamping the way that they interact with the army so that it doesn't feel like the defining feature of a Silvernet army is buying 3 wildwoods. That's all I want. You know, I want things to be able to operate outside of the woods pretty well. I like their spell lore. It's quite good. It's just they don't have a whole lot of ways of buffing casting kind of a deal. Yeah, I don't know. I'm hoping this is their time. If nothing else, one thing I can say fairly confidently is that new unit types will always be a good thing, right? I mean, just the fact that they're adding in a flying unit of the... What are they called? Yeah, the flying archers is great for mobility shooting. That's cool. And then the actual cavalry unit, just for board control and stuff, like just the addition of things with speed, and in these guys' case, you know, attack with speed, I think is just going to change the army overall. And that's exciting. It's really exciting. I just hope that the whole thing is not, again, suffocated and defined by terrain, because that's not what we're here for. We're here for fantastic battles over terrain, sure, but it's not, you know, just call, it's not, I don't want Battletome Wildwoods is what I'm trying to say. So anyway, I'm very excited for these guys. It's the most hype I've ever been for Silvernet. Just because, again, regardless of the rules, getting options just broadens the scope of what an army can do tremendously. So I'm very excited. I'll leave this here. Does anybody have any final thoughts on the Silvernet? Again, if you haven't seen it, Google Cherry Blossom Silvernet and have your mind blown. It just makes me happy. One of the things that draws me to the army is all of the Revenant stuff. So anything, you know, you have your wood stuff, which is cool. I don't really care for dryads. I think they're a little bit monotone. There's not a whole lot of things growing on them. But when you talk about these guys, we have the wood and then the ethereal side of stuff. Oh, yeah. So nice. Let Silvernet turn terrain into trees as they overgrow them. That'd be cool. Yeah, it'd be rad. I would also... I would be super interested if they had endless spells, or even just using the wildwoods, to be honest, if you just do that, where it's like a trap. Kind of like how with the what is the Skaven warp lightning thing, where you put the 3 points down and anything inside the triangle gets just like shot to oblivion with pain. The same concept, but imagine if it was representative of, you know, vines and stuff just enveloping opponents and armies and stuff. I think that could be really compelling. And it's a way to represent a martial use of the forests without having to physically do a whole bunch of crap with terrain. All I know is how they will do when World Eaters Codex and have no corn gores. You live up to your name, and I love it. Casts entangling roots. Yeah, I was thinking of that, but a more tangible version. You know, they seem to really want to do a lot with terrain, so having some physical representation of that, I think, would be a good middle ground. Okay. Excited for Silvernet, but I just promised a few months ago that I won't buy any more GW models. Like, okay. I mean, I get it. That's cool. I'm very excited. They've certainly had their time in darkness, and yeah. Anything special caught my eye from the Silvernet line? It's all about the Lady of Vines. Beautiful model. Absolutely stellar. So we're going to move right along here. Revealed! Ogroid Theradons prepare to charge into the mortal realms. Again, we'll start this just to keep it playing for anyone who didn't get a chance to watch it. While many tribes flock to the Ever-Chosen's banner for power, fortune, and glory, the Ogroids threw in their lot with the Chaos Gods after a devastating war with the forces of destruction. And now they serve on the front lines of Archaon's coming storm. Pause. That is a lore tidbit that I am so frickin' excited to read about. Can't even tell you. That sounds really cool. Theradons are shock assault infantry par excellence, corded with thick muscle and standing head and shoulders above lesser human warriors, meaning the rest of the Battletome probably. Their speed and bulk carries them straight through enemy lines with an unstoppable horn-tipped charge, swinging colossal axes as easily as an elf would flick a paintbrush. And here's our unit. So they are what's looking like a 3-man just pulverizer unit. I'll get to my thoughts on how they fit into Slaves to Darkness here at the end, but let's keep going. We'll throw that picture out there. Once possessed of a mighty empire that stretched across great swaths of Gur, the Ogroids, known to themselves as Gorones, fought alongside Gorka Morka's hordes, seeking the destruction of all that threatened their civilization. Unfortunately, the Bone Splitters aren't the most reliable neighbors, and the Goroan Empire fell to rampaging greenskins. As a Bone Splitters player, I'm going to say sorry. What remained of the Gorones were enticed by Archeon with promises of a new home. Secure against all invaders, the land would become the 8 Points. There, under the shadow of the Varen Spire, the Ogroids raised dark citadels, forged mighty weapons, and serve as overseers in the armies of chaos. Look at those shields. I love them. Okay. And this isn't the first time we've seen Ogroids, of course. The pit-fighting Myrmidon has been a regular celebrity in the Warcry arena for some time, while the arcane Thaumaturge practices its deadly magic within Tzeentch's armies. The Ogroid Theradons join them as powerful heavy infantry options for the Slaves to Darkness, and the distant rumbling of hoofbeats suggest we've only got until winter to prepare. Now, straight up, I'm going to throw this out there. This is super because of the massive leak that happened. If you don't know, you can pretty much find a good portion of the Slaves to Darkness Battle Tome coming out this winter online because someone spoiled the fun for all of us. I don't care for leaks. I don't mind them when they're like the week before something comes out when we've had enough time to get excited, but to steal the thunder from the marketing and design team, I think sucks. That's my opinion. If you disagree, that's cool. We'll still be friends. So I'm looking at these dudes. They are hero options right now in the current Slaves to Darkness book. The Myrmidon is a super cool model. I use him a lot in Warcry because he just has a presence. You know, I mean, when I was playing a lot with the Corvus Cabal, all of those units were, they're just super easy to kill. They hit really hard, but they're like glass cannons, and so having an Ogroid there was like a good anchor point. And I kind of bring that thought process to these guys when I think about them in the context of Slaves to Darkness. Slaves to Darkness is an army where there's a lot of just dudes, right? There's a lot of flavors of bro with weapon. Chaos Warriors, all your war bands, your Marauders, all that kind of stuff. What you don't have is a lot of variety. And that's a big issue because not only is variety the spice of life, but also it gives you different abilities to hold objectives. Some are more defensive, some more offensive. So, all that to say, when I look at these guys, it's clear they have what looks like a two-handed weapon option and a single hand and shield. They're just going to give you more options, having tons of wounds, hopefully. Hopefully they're representative of what Ogroid stuff is like now, the one hero that we have. Yeah, I'm so excited for these guys. Someone already asked me, sent me a text, and was like, do you regret selling your Slaves to Darkness now? No, not at all. I would rather start a whole new frickin' army with these guys. Are you kidding me? So, I like them. Just having different types of units, like a 3-man unit with high wounds versus a 10-man unit with 1 wound, or 20 in the case of Marauders. All that kind of stuff. I think it's great. Gwell, do you think there'll be battle line? Probably not, or I can imagine they would be battle line if your general is the Ogroid Myrmidon, because that's still a leader option from what I understand. So yeah. And honestly, that would be a really cool thing, because you're trading a lot at that point. You're trading, if you want these guys to be battle line, man, chonky 3-man units is battle line. I can tell you as a Knights Excelsior player, you can have Annihilators as battle line. It's pretty nice, I won't lie. Especially when it's like, 3 minimum size units of these dudes, and then the rest of the list is just all the dumb, cool toys that you want to bring. Oh yeah. That's the stuff right there. So I'm going to go ahead and just leave it here. Friends, tell me your thoughts on these dudes. I'm just going to scroll through the chat, make sure I didn't miss a ton. Cultist 176, we talked about Skaven. I do not feel bad for them at all. They need rules before anything else. That's my opinion. I'm sticking to it. Waffles, poor beasts of Nope getting slapped with another beastie model going to another faction. I mean, I don't want a world where they have the entire, like, market on anything abhuman. Monsters should be everywhere. Every faction should be loaded to gills with monsters. Death should be filled with monster skeletons. All of them. Everywhere, always. That's not their unique selling proposition. Tons of bodies who die at the drop of a hat and then mutate into spawn is what I think Beasts of Chaos are about. Those shields are mint. The axe variant is meh. You don't like the axe ones? I would have preferred a shield and battle axe, like a one-handed axe. But I like them. You know, I mean, maybe they truly are the chaos equivalent to Annihilators. Wouldn't that be so freaking rad? Oh man, I love it. Lord Billy, I'm going to say is this. These look like new Bulgors, and I'd be sad looking at these if I was a Beastman player. They'll get their time in the sun. Or just proxy them. Who gives a crap? I guess to that point, because it's been brought up a few times about like Beastman players and Minotaurs and stuff. To me personally, I would just buy them and play them as Minotaurs. If you're going to an event that cares so much as to tell you that you can't do that, and that upsets you, don't go to the event. That's it. Go. Most friendly games on an average store night, nobody gives a crap. Do whatever you want. Buy what you think looks cool. None of this matters. It's all just abstract anyway. Again, that's an opinion. A decidedly unpopular one when it comes to tournament play, but, you know, whatever. Doug regrets selling an army only to paint it again? No, just no. Are you saying no that I don't regret it? Because I certainly don't, and I've been on Stormcast 3 times, Slaves to Darkness twice, Beasts of Chaos once. I've had most things once, but the armies I've done multiple times. I think I'm on round 3 for the Bone Splitters. It's what I do. I go through seasons. What do you think about the possible Age of Sigmar creatures that might come into the memes? I don't understand. I like the Bronze Age feel. Yeah. If the leaks are true, they've got a 5-up save. Does that not concern you? No. These guys? No, I don't care. 1, Slaves to Darkness is an army where you can get add 1 and re-rolls out the nose. And they're not there for a long time. They're there for a good time. So they're going to move in, thrash some stuff, and then die. Because that's the nature of Warhammer. It's not Survive Hammer. If I could snap my fingers, everything in the entire game would have -1 to their save right now. Because there's nothing less fun than a 2-up save. I'm okay with a 5-up. All right. Man. There's quite a bit of poo-pooing. Complaints about Ossiarch Bone Reapers, Skaven. No. This is a truly celebratory day because there's some kick-ass stuff, y'all. I don't know what you're talking about. Doug, you're about the paint journey, so I know you don't regret it. Oh, yeah. I am. And we got one last one here today. 2 new sagas, 2 new heroes, 2 new models. Let's check it out. Okay. Warhammer Age of Sigmar is rich, evolving narrative, stretching the Rumgate Wars through the Soul Wars up to the Era of the Beast and the Awakening of Gur. Such epic tales are given life by the great characters who inhabit them, and Black Library is always introducing more reoccurring heroes and anti-heroes. Now, 2 of the brightest stars are getting their own miniature fields. Nice. I thought we played Peace Hammer. Yeah. So we'll get that going. While Fafnir Ron and Dominion Zephon made their names at the Siege of Terra, book series for 40k. These two Warhammer heroes both hail from the Mortal Realms. Let's take a closer look at these literary lads in question. So I'll let that video play here while I just see the chat. Nothing worse than a 2-up save. You're spot on there. Yeah, it's just not fun. I play Blown Splitters. I have no rend in the army. I understand that that's my army's weakness, but the amount of 2-up saves in this game, I'm just like, okay. So what? I just stand here and get thrashed for 2 hours? That's cool. Wish we got more Skaven stuff. Sorry, guys. I get accused of being a positivity shill for Games Workshop all the time. To dispel that myth, go back and listen to the earlier coverage we were talking about earlier in the stream. But I'm just going to say this is not a Warhammer issue. This is a life perspective issue. There has been a ton of cool things revealed today. Between back-to-back spoiling of upcoming books and the Night Haunt and Slaves to Darkness, respectively, an entire new line of models for Silvernet to have... When I say entirely new line, I don't mean like a new set of every unit, but there are units there that do vastly different things than what the established models do. So new ways of playing. I'm just saying, I'm nothing but happy. If you're going to spend your life looking at things you don't have, you're missing the things you do. And I got some cool-ass Warhammer. What do you got? Okay, here we go. Kato Esachiar. I don't know how to pronounce that. First up is... whenever I see this name, Kato, it makes me think of... is it... the O.J. Simpson guy, Kato Kalin? Is that his name? What am I thinking of him from? Anyway, Star of the Short Stories, Tower of Empty Mirrors, and Beasts, the Road of the Hollow King. This windswept warrior is anti-heroic, tragic, and vampiric to boost, bearing the immortal curse of the Soulblight Gravelords. The so-called Hallow King travels the mortal realms in search of revenge, haunted by those he's lost. No, literally haunted. And he is a man beset. Let's see. Kato. I think it's a super cool looking model. I love that as a vampire lord, to be honest with you. Okay. I was not crazy. I was like, they showed this book and I was like, did I just totally miss this book? Like they were mentioning the stories he was in and I was like, what the heck? Sorry about that. He's getting his first full-length novel. So that's exciting. John French is a fantastic writer. If you guys don't keep up with who the Black Library authors are, John French is an author who wrote the Ahriman series, which is a Thousand Suns Chaos Marine 40k book. And what he does in that story is really not necessarily gives you sympathy because Ahriman is doing terrible things and they don't shy away from that, but gives you great reasons, great motivations and character development and how things rise and fall. I think John French is a phenomenal author in terms of laying out a story that makes you fall in love with a villain and you still hate them for being villainous. So I think it's terrific that he's writing this. I'm very excited to see what he brings to the table for this particular character. So we'll scroll down here. Plus, I mean, honestly, more unique vampire lord models. Do we need any other reason? And next is Drecky Flint. I recognize that name. Drecky Flint is the protagonist of his own short stories, The Last Karak and Granka Gorogna. And this stunning new model brings the smooth-talking, fast-talking, brings the smooth-talking, fast-talking, sweet-talking Dwarden to life. That's a mouthful. With his multi-barreled ethermatic pistol, Karen, and more importantly, an immaculately groomed beard, he's ready to rob from the rich and give to the... Well, some of it makes its way to the poor, we're sure. I like him. Tales of Elethrian. These models are so full of attitude. Absolutely. I love his scar. right there on the top of his head. You can kind of get a slightly... I wish it was turned a little bit more, but you can see it right here from the angle. I dig it. This traveling Dwarden pirate, he prefers dashing rogue, brings readers to cool locales across the mortal realms, usually filled with deadly enemies. Sometimes they even hate him for the things that aren't his fault. He's also getting his first full-length novel from Guy Haley. Okay, very nice. I am excited to read those. Let me see. Okay. I'm just looking at the gun compared to... You'd think if it has 3 barrels next to each other, like, the aim would be a little bit difficult, but whatever. It's not a revolver type gun. It's just straight up 3 guns attached to one handle. I like it. My gun would like to speak to your yes. My gun's named Karen. Really happy for Silvernet players. Models look amazing. Hopefully this good energy I'm putting out will come back to me as Bone Splitter rules or Skaven models. There you go. And that is it. So we have had a ton of reveals today. I'm going to kind of, let's see, let me pull up the main page for the community here and just kind of think about this in totality, right? So I'm thinking about all the articles we got today. My total thoughts, super excited for the Silvernet. The model line they got is terrific. Really, really excited. It's made me look at that army and with more intensity than I ever have before. Interest as well. The Ogroid Theradons speak to a really, really cool part. Hey, I see you, Andrew. Wink. Speak to a part of Slaves to Darkness that it's missing, which is just different kinds of units in terms of having 3-man units. Now there's 5-man units, of course, with knights and stuff like that, but just a diversity of different kinds of models. It's a lot of just dude with weapon. Beyond that, Skaven, I know the internet is screeching because everyone didn't get the toys that they imagined, but I went on my very long diatribe of why I think Skaven is the worst designed battle tome in Age of Sigmar. And I'm really hoping this new battle tome addresses that, and then it will be a faction that is exciting to get new models because people will actually be able to use them in meaningful ways. I promised I wouldn't go back on the soapbox, so I'm done about the Skaven. And then the other stuff, the unique models. Vince said Skaven has great design. Don't care. I'm sorry. You seem to be on the wrong channel now. I just disagree. It's fine. I don't mind the design of how each unit plays. It's literally army construction. I hate the army construction part of it. The individual units, I was playing them when I played I did do Scryer for a bit. Then I did kind of a mixed thing and then inched my way into Pestilence. And I liked them individually for what they all did. I thought they were cool, but as a consumer, it's a terrible book. I'm sorry. It just is. That's my opinion. Again, opinions. Go back and listen to that on our Skaven section here if you want to get the full scoop on that. But yeah, I think it's great. They didn't really show a whole lot of real information when it came to the new General's Handbook or the Cities of Sigmar stuff. But I feel like I got the information that I needed, which is with the GHB, they're keeping it the same smaller book setting, and sizing is what I meant, not setting, but that same kind of smaller thing. I like that quite a bit. And then for the Cities of Sigmar, an emphasis on the Dawnbringer Crusades, and they showed us some cool designs that they're working on. And, just like when they released the Sisters of Battle, they kind of did a report on all the different renders and stuff as the faction was being developed. Hopefully they do the same thing, because that was a super fun journey. I didn't comment on it on the videos, but I did follow along online, and it was very fun to see. So hopefully I do something similar to that. But anyway, friends, that is what is up with today's reveals. And so I hope you had a good time listening and hanging out. Sorry for the rambling about Skaven earlier. It's just, there's just so much negativity regarding they didn't get models. And it's I just personally feel like models are not the problem with the army right now. That's just as someone, I played it, I collected it. got super frustrated with it and then gave it away because I didn't like it. But yeah. Would like to see more Black Library models. A Dawnbringer model would be nice. Well, every model's a Dawnbringer model because they can all be in a crusade. But I see your meaning. Yes, of course. I would really love a man, I would have loved it if they did a special Stormcast that was the main character from Dominion. I think that would have been really cool. And if you know who I'm talking about, not the main Stormcast, the other Stormcast. I'm a solo Pestilence main who wants to be a Skaven main. Good luck to you. You're about $300 worth of purchases away. Anyway, friends, I will catch you all later. Thank you so much for watching and hanging out. If you have any thoughts afterwards, go ahead and leave them in the comments of this video. I would love to chat with you. Especially, I gave a lot of opinions regarding Skaven and Silvernet specifically because those are the ones I felt like the articles that had the most meat to kind of chew into. So let me know what they got going on there and your thoughts about it. So, friends, thank you so much, and I will catch you next time. And happy wargaming.